I had a question for you. Are you interested in learning new ways to improve your relationships? Well, who isn't, right? So if you are, this video is for you. I've got Margaret with me today, and she and I, Eddie here, are a mindful emergence where we offer mindfulness, movement, and breathing practices for your healing and spiritual transformation. And most of our work now is with plant medicine. So, Margaret, we all have relationships of one kind or another. Talk about what you've learned about how to improve.
Yeah, I think I've learned a lot from Kanna and many other things about my mindful emergence from people pleasing and codependency into more authentic relationships. And you and I, Eddie, we've been in a conscious equal partnership for 13 years. And we love each other very much.
Mhm,
And we're deeply committed. And yet, it's not easy for any of us. So, Eddie, you live with complex PTSD,
mhm.
and I live with issues of codependency. And as anyone might imagine, that mix makes for kind of an interesting recipe, complex recipe. Could be amazing, could be kind of a disaster. But both of us are very committed also to mind, body, spirit practices and have been for a long time. Yoga, breath work, meditation and mindfulness. I also love IFS therapy, which stands for internal family systems, which really means we're talking to our parts. And at our ages, Eddie 76, myself 61, we're not looking for a recreational experience. We're looking for the truth. I don't want to carry my wounds in my energy fields into the next phase, whatever that may be. So I have explored plant medicines and would love to talk about Kanna with you.
So we did another video, which, by the way, I put a link in the description if you want to really take a deep dive into what Kanna is and how it's used. But just give a kind of a brief overview. What is it? How it's used?
Sure. It is from South Africa. It's a succulent plant, and it's been used for a really long time for a wide variety of reasons in that culture. So it's really woven into everyday life. For example, laboring women giving birth to ease their pain, babies for teething, and then in their culture, long hunting expeditions to stave off the hunger and the thirst and to really give them the stamina for the long trek
And
and
focus.
to, what's that?
And
And
focus.
focus, absolutely, concentration. In our society, it's looked at more as a heart opener, kind of a social lubricant, and it promotes feelings of connection and decreases social anxiety, improves our learning and our memory, helps us to relieve everyday stress and depression, and also for issues of emotional eating.
Mhm. What is it about it that allows this kind of heart opening experience?
Well, it's known to be an empathogen. So the company's name is KA Empathogenics. So empathogen means that we feel more empathy or love and joy, things that we all want. And it seems to open up our closed places in our hearts, places where we feel like we might have been shut down a bit, where we've been wounded, maybe through criticism or neglect or shame or and however we might have been hurt in the past in relationships. It seems to ease that so that we can talk about difficult subjects in relationship with friends, co-workers, our loving partner, our children. It's also what I think is really fascinating an adaptogen. And what that means is it's a natural thing, a plant medicine that helps us in adapting to our everyday life. And things that you might already be aware of that are known as adaptogens are ginseng, ashwagandha, holy basil,
Lion's
cordyceps
mane?
mushrooms, lion's mane. Right, right. So they have a kind of a normalizing effect and they bring us back to ourselves, basically, equilibrium.
Yeah.
And for example, if you need to settle down and listen more, then Kanna might help you feel comfortable getting quiet and paying attention. Or if you're like me, you need to kind of be bold and share more of yourself in relationships and know yourself on a deeper level. It may help you feel comfortable being a little more courageous and curious and outgoing. Um, yeah, so that's an adaptogen.
When you talk about the heart opening
Mhm,
capacity of this,
mhm,
it of course reminds me of MDMA,
mhm.
which we've had experience with. And MDMA is amazing, but it's synthetic. It's not legal yet, hasn't been approved FDA. Talk a little bit more about how these are different because they
Yeah,
both have a lot of potential.
yeah. So typical people might know MDMA as ecstasy. And it has that name for a reason. It kind of creates this euphoria, this feeling of being wide open and friendly and kind of full of joy and love. But it can be a little harsh on the body. So they both, Kanna and MDMA, have euphoric and heart opening effects. And MDMA is a synthetic, which means it contains amphetamines. It's speedy and it can cause some negative side effects, especially the next day, like memory problems, a kind of a
Jaw,
flat line. What'd you say?
the jaw tightening, clenching.
Oh, yeah, the muscular tension, the jaw tightening. It can also have this feeling of being cold and sweaty simultaneously. Whereas Kana is neuroprotective, meaning that it kind of protects the brain and the nervous system. Serotonin can be depleted by taking MDMA, but not with Kana. It actually replenishes the serotonin in our systems.
Yeah, I mean, if you do MDMA, you really are suggest you don't do it again for a while.
A while.
But you can
Yeah,
do Kanna
yeah.
on a regular basis, even daily, right?
Yeah, that's what the company recommends. And they also say after a while, perhaps around 3 months, you may want to take a break, reassess, kind of like similar to microdosing on psilocybin or LSD or some of the other microdosing medicines. You're not doing it all the time. You're taking little breaks and kind of assessing where you are. So these kinds of respectful relationships with the medicine, they give us the sovereignty to decide what to put into our bodies, how much, when. So it can be a very intuitive, kind of more organic, natural process.
And it's legal.
Oh, yeah, that's an important point. It's legal.
Kind of an
So
important detail.
no problems
I mean, you can get
ordering
on an
and
airplane with
ingesting.
it, if you want. So what does this stuff look like? Can you show folks how we ingest it and options?
Yeah, yeah. In my order, I ordered both the tincture and the what they call our chews, and I get this little bag. And so here's what it looks like. Here's the box, and you got to kind of press it with the thumb and then pull it out carefully with the other hand. And it comes in what they call chews, these little squares, and you put it in your mouth and it dissolves on your tongue slowly. It takes maybe 20 minutes or so in our experience. And it makes your tongue really tingly.
Mhm.
And the salivary glands are kind of activated. So that's how it gets absorbed into the system. And then there's this feeling of like, whoa, like, wow, everything's coming online. And, and that lasts for, oh, probably, what would you say, Eddie, 4 or 5 hours or
Yeah.
so?
That's it.
Okay. And then this is the tincture. So it's liquid and it's got this little uh, dropper, and you kind of press the top and then you put a little couple of drops underneath your tongue. You hold it underneath your tongue for about 30 seconds or so, swish it around in your mouth to get the main effect through the salivary glands. You can take both together, or you could just take the drops, see how that works, and then move on to the chew. They say one chew has been enough for us
Oh yeah.
for a whole half of a day or
That's plenty.
so. Yeah. It also came with this little booklet. It's a recipe booklet if you wanted to make mocktails with the tincture, the liquid tincture. It comes with a brochure about, how to use it, what to expect, when to use it. And again, a lot of it is intuitive too. You get to choose how and when and how much and kind of play with it a little bit to find the right effect. But keep in mind, it's mild. So it's not going to have like this big hit. It's going to be kind of a subtlety, which I love. I'm
Yeah.
sensitive. I don't want to be, carried off.
Okay. So I forgot what the next question was. I was going
It's
to ask.
okay.
Oh, uh, you alluded to how this has helped you deal with your people-pleasing tendencies,
Oh, yeah.
codependency. Can you talk a little bit more about this? Because this tendency is not unique to you. It's very common.
Yeah. Yeah. Our continual use, we've been using it for what I think about 2 years, maybe a little more.
More than that.
Consistently, typically on a weekly basis. So not every single day, but what I've noticed about me, and I attribute this to the Kanna, I feel more free and natural. And I feel like I can express myself in my words and my actions. They feel like they're aligned and integrated with myself. I feel more myself, basically. And I do feel safe with you, Eddie. So I think our loving relationship has gone a long way in helping me kind of step into who I am and express that. And it has not been without its challenges and hiccups and missteps. And so
But that's
I
part
want
of
to
the
say
process.
it's part of the process.
Yeah.
And I'm more clear when I've been critical of you. I'm more able to take responsibility for my overreactions and apologize and then come back to my natural state of joy and love and connection. I don't stay removed and separated, from myself or you. And I think those benefits are priceless.
Well, what I've noticed is that I tend to be less reactive because
Mhm.
you've talked about people pleasing on my side. It's more the defensiveness, sensitivity, because of the past trauma and stuff. And I found that I can listen to you better. You can ask me questions that I might
Mm.
not really, or say things I'm not necessarily that keen on hearing, but with the medicine, I can sit and listen and really take it in and work with it instead of like getting reactive. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been very helpful in that way.
it's beautiful.
Yeah. So I know the other question I was going to ask you is, you're, as I am, very concerned about how clean this stuff is because you can buy all kinds of stuff on the internet and you don't know what you're getting. But you did a lot of investigation into this and before you went and bought it. And it's also a woman-owned company, which of course is another plus,
I love
right?
that. Yes. And it's carefully made, it's carefully sourced, it's grown carefully and authentically, I would say. And it doesn't have preservatives or elasticizers. What we've noticed is when I open my box and the next time I go to use it, the chews may be a little hard, but it doesn't affect the quality at all. But that just reveals that there's nothing in there as a preservative, as a kind of I guess they call it elasticizer. But yeah, it's very pure, it's very natural, it's very organic, even though it may not be completely USDA organically certified. It's grown in a way that is, adding in all of those natural, it's without pesticides, herbicides, chemicals, and fertilizers.
Right. So the purpose of our videos is to educate people, and this may sound like an infomercial for Kanna. It's not. We're so excited about this. We've been using it for so long. We see that there's potential and need out there, and we're just trying to let you, as a listener, or as someone watching this video, know this is an option for you to consider. If you have questions about it, you can reach out to us. If you've had experience with it, please leave comments for us and
Mm-hmm.
others who
Mm-hmm.
might be interested. And of course, you can reach out to us. and talk to us and work with us if you'd like with this or other practices that we offer. So, anything else you
Let
want to say, Margaret, before we
yeah,
button it up?
let's include a link where they can get a discount if they
Great.
if they click on that link.
Absolutely. That will be there, a link.
Okay.
So you can go directly there
All
with a
right.
discount. Not bad. Well, Margaret, thanks for this information. And those of you watching the video, thanks for watching. If you like it, please give us a thumbs up. And if you like this kind of content, I encourage you to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss these videos in the future because we're pumping them out. We're really trying to get the information out. So thanks for watching.